Greetings guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. So happy to have you here with me today. We're going to get right into the video. For those of you that are new here, I'm a professional intuitive empath and today we're going to talk about water finding its own level. So this is a concept that water, of course, if you pour it into a glass or a receptacle, will find its own level. And the thing about this to know is that this happens also in energetic relationships too. So I recently got to watch somebody find their own level. I'd always thought that we were at the same level. We clearly were not. She was far more comfortable with this lower vibrational situation. And the reason she was is because she didn't have to really push or do the work or do any of the things that any divine counterpart will require or any empath or intuitive will require, okay? So it was an important lesson for me to learn because I kept trying to pull her up and show her and show her and show her. And she did ascertain things from me, copy, use, not give credit, do all the things that haters will do. But what I realized is that she's far more comfortable over there than she ever really was with me. She never really understood why I loved her so much and how I saw value in her. And because she didn't see value in herself, she then corroborated that story with someone who saw her. It was like, you're fine just the way you are. Why is she making you work so hard and think words and read books and do things and think about your spirituality? So she found her own level. So a lot of you guys are mourning relationships that ended, especially if you watch your DM or DF move to a karmic and you think, well, they're just not as good as me and da-da-da-da. Listen, fortunately, I didn't struggle with the person wasn't as good as me. I knew exactly who that person was and what she was supposed to do in her life, which was to teach her a lesson about listening to her own Holy Spirit and not being so easily gullible and easily controlled. It's so funny in our dynamic, I always thought I was a people pleaser, but God allowed me to step back and see her and be repulsed, and it changed the way that I will behave for the rest of my life. It'll never happen again because I got to see codependency and all of that stuff mirrored in my my bestie, who I really adored. But she found her own level, and I couldn't deny it. She was much happier. Things were easier. She could have the sex and breach the boundaries and do all of the things with that person that she could not do with me. And I was fighting for this integral, magical Oprah Gale relationship when the truth of the matter is she wanted like, way down yonder in the Chattahoochee, it gets hotter than a hoochie coochie. She was all in her Alan Jackson. And I was like, all right, girl, you whatever, be on the Georgia asphalt. And got a little crazy, but we never got caught. Now those two will get caught. But that was the energy for me, and it was just something that I had to really release. And so if you're in that situation, I want you to understand that if you're watching a friendship or a colleagueship or a relationship where someone seems to be choosing somebody else that's so different from you, don't get caught up in the triangulation that narcissists want you to be in, where you're comparing and competing. You know, Joanne the Scammer, which is very ironic for those two Prakalishas here on YouTube, has a video, and it's a joke where she says, but it's the truth. It's the truth. We don't compete if we don't compare. If they found their level and they are each other, why would I compete with the Tinsley, the devil? I wouldn't, because I'm not her. I'm not desperate. Maybe I was at a time in my life, but I have outgrown that. I'm not needy. I'm not codependent. Not the way I was. I evolved. That's how I knew who she was, because I saw myself. So I'm not hating, guys. We all go through our journey. Codependency and neediness, these are all things we evolve through. But she found her level. She was much more comfortable there and wanted to show me this is who I would always choose. And I knew that. And I had to walk away and be okay with that. And maybe empath, divine feminine, sweet light worker, you might too. Just because you poured a lot of energy into somebody doesn't mean that they're obligated to stay with you. Water finds their own level. Consider it a compliment that if they had their choice and their druthers, as she did in that moment, that it wasn't you that she chose. It says so much about who you've become and who you no longer are. And that's okay. It may hurt a little. And for me, it hurt a lot. I'll never lie. But I healed and I got ridiculous lessons, amazing insights, grace, and abundance, like actual money that came to me as soon as I walked away and stopped trying to understand this very simple truth that water will always find its own level. Empaths, release holding on to something that's no longer for you. There was a lesson to extract. Your job as a light worker and a visitor here to this earth plane is to transmute and if you'd like to teach. For me, teaching is the delight of my life. So I, even in that moment when I was walking away, I was gracious to that person who had found her level, and I said, you know, I'll teach about this. So none of these videos would ever be a surprise to her if she ever saw them, because I did tell her graciously, I will teach about this, because the best thing that she gave me was not only my freedom and my backbone, because I had to fight for it, but she gave me these beautiful lessons. In fact, I dare say that while she was finding her level, the thing that I found was my worth. And I actually found hers, and I found her value is greatest to me, not in my life, but as a teaching lesson and an opportunity to reflect. Together, not so good, not as good as I thought. Maybe I was painting a pretty picture. I'm really good with making things look better than they are. And the truth is, when I looked at her and the water that she chose, that toxic sewer water, I thought, it's too bad. But it makes sense. I get it. And I wish for them happiness in whatever twisted codependent way that they could have it. But I thought, I loved this person at some point in my life. I would never not want her to have a partner. And at least now she does. And I meant that. I meant that genuinely. And I was grateful, because that exposure to the sewer water, Tinsley, the sewer rat, she taught me who my best friend was. She introduced me truly to her personality, her defects, her low vibration, all stuff I didn't know, because I had painted her with the prettiest of pictures. I do love a good acrylic multimedia, and she was mine. She was my muse in many ways, but I had projected onto her the things I wanted her to be. With Tinsley, I was able to see exactly who she was, and I thought, I love her still, but from very far away, and never up close, and never in communication, and never in my energy ever again. I blessed them, and I protected her in the best way I could when I was at her house. And I understood when my angel said, do you see now? Water always finds its own level. What's yours, Monette? That's what my angel said to me. Where is your level? Who is your water? Angels and ancestors protected me in that moment. And to you, empaths and intuitives, I ask you, where is your level? Who is your water? If you've recently had to walk away from a situation, or you sense you may have to because they're not up to the caliber that you would like, it's okay. It's okay to mourn and grieve and release, but then you are tasked to find your water. All right, guys, come back and join me next time, and we will continue to evolve together.